Have you ever woken up suddenly with a distinct feeling that you were floating above your own body, looking down at yourself, as if you were both the observer and the observed? What if I told you that this experience, this sensation of being outside your physical form, might not just be a dream or hallucination, but something you could potentially control and induce at will? Throughout human history, across virtually every culture and civilization, there have been accounts of people experiencing something profound, a separation of consciousness from the physical body. We call these out-of-body experiences. These experiences typically share common elements: a sensation of floating or rising, seeing your physical body from an external perspective, and a profound sense of realness that distinguishes these episodes from ordinary dreams. The ancient Egyptians called it the Ka, believing it was a spiritual double that could leave the body during sleep. Tibetan Buddhists developed elaborate practices around what they term consciousness projection. Hindu traditions describe the ability to separate the subtle body from the physical form through disciplined yoga practices. But are these just cultural interpretations of universal human experiences like dreams or hallucinations? Or is there something more profound happening? Something that might reveal fundamental truths about consciousness itself? Modern science has approached out-of-body experiences with both skepticism and fascination. In the 1970s, Charles Tart conducted some of the first laboratory studies on the phenomenon, attempting to verify if people could accurately report on distant objects while supposedly out of body. More recently, neuroscientists have discovered they can actually induce out-of-body-like sensations by stimulating specific regions of the brain, particularly the temporoparietal junction. When this area is electrically stimulated, patients report classic out-of-body experience sensations: floating, seeing themselves from above, and a disconnection from their physical form. Olaf Blanke at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology made headlines when his team triggered an out-of-body experience in a patient being treated for epilepsy. With just a small electrical current to a specific brain region, the patient experienced floating above her body and watching herself from the ceiling. Critics point to these findings as evidence that out-of-body experiences are simply brain malfunctions, neurological glitches that create compelling illusions of disembodiment. When the brain systems for mapping body position and perspective become temporarily misaligned, we experience ourselves as separate from our physical form. But proponents of more spiritual interpretations ask a profound question. What if these brain areas aren't generating the experience, but rather serving as gateways or interfaces that allow consciousness to temporarily operate beyond the confines of the brain? The truth is, science has yet to fully explain consciousness itself. The hard problem of how physical brain matter creates subjective experience remains one of the greatest mysteries in neuroscience. And that gap leaves room for interpretations that extend beyond the purely physical. While spontaneous out-of-body experiences have been reported for millennia, many traditions claim these experiences can be deliberately induced through specific practices, a phenomenon often called astral projection. The concept appears in texts from ancient Egypt, in Taoist practices from China, in the Upanishads of India, and in the esoteric traditions of nearly every major religion. These diverse sources describe remarkably similar techniques: deep relaxation, visualization, focused attention, and specific states of consciousness between waking and sleeping. Robert Monroe, a radio executive who began experiencing spontaneous out-of-body experiences in the 1950s, developed one of the most well-known modern methods. His technique, which he called phasing, involves maintaining awareness while the body falls asleep, a delicate balance of relaxation and alertness. Modern practitioners often describe entering a hypnagogic state, the borderland between wakefulness and sleep, while maintaining conscious awareness. They report sensations of vibration, electrical tingling, and sounds like buzzing or roaring that precede the actual separation. Once separation occurs, practitioners claim the experience feels more real than ordinary reality, with heightened sensory awareness, vivid perception, and a profound sense of freedom. They describe moving by intention rather than physical effort, traveling instantaneously to distant locations, and encountering other consciousnesses in what they term the astral plane. But is there any evidence that consciousness is actually leaving the body, or are these simply extraordinarily vivid internal experiences? Researchers have attempted to test astral projection claims by placing targets in locations that would only be visible from out-of-body perspectives. The results have been mixed. While some studies have yielded intriguing results that suggest possible perception beyond the physical body, most have failed to provide conclusive evidence. What's particularly fascinating is how similar these experiences are across cultures and time periods, despite significant differences in beliefs. People who have never heard of astral projection report nearly identical sensations and perceptions during spontaneous out-of-body experiences. This consistency suggests we're dealing with a genuine human experience, whether internal or external in origin. If you're intrigued by the possibility of experiencing this phenomenon yourself, countless traditions offer techniques for inducing out-of-body experiences. While I can't guarantee results, these practices often promote deep relaxation and altered states of consciousness that many find beneficial, regardless of whether separation occurs. The most common approach begins with progressive relaxation, systematically releasing tension from every part of the body while maintaining mental alertness. This creates what practitioners call the mind-awake, body-asleep state. From this foundation, various visualization methods are employed, imagining floating upward, rolling out of the body, or climbing an ethereal rope. Others focus on vibrations or sounds that reportedly precede separation. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of out-of-body experiences isn't the phenomenon itself, but how it transforms those who experience it. Research shows that people who report out-of-body experiences, whether spontaneous or induced, often describe profound shifts in their understanding of themselves and reality. Many report decreased fear of death after experiencing existence apart from their physical form. Others describe enhanced intuition, greater compassion, and a sense of connection to something larger than themselves. These effects mirror those reported in profound spiritual experiences and certain psychedelic states, suggesting that whatever their cause, out-of-body experiences can catalyze significant personal growth. The question of whether we can leave our bodies leads directly to more fundamental questions. What is consciousness? Are we essentially physical beings having occasional non-physical experiences, or non-physical beings primarily having a physical experience? Out-of-body experiences seem to challenge strictly materialist views while not necessarily proving any particular alternative. They exist in that fascinating borderland where subjective experience and objective reality meet, perhaps suggesting that the distinction between the two is not as clear-cut as we typically assume. After exploring ancient traditions, scientific research, personal accounts, and philosophical implications, we return to our original question. Can we leave our bodies at will? The honest answer is that we don't know with certainty. Science has not conclusively proven that consciousness can operate independently of the brain, but neither has it fully explained consciousness itself, or the remarkable consistency of out-of-body experience reports across time and cultures. So can you leave your body at will? I can't answer that for you, but I can invite you to remain open to the vastness of human experience, to the possibility that consciousness is more mysterious and expansive than we yet understand. After all, The greatest journey of exploration may not be outward to distant stars, but inward, to the uncharted territories of our own awareness. Thank you for joining me on this exploration beyond the physical.